let's first start off with your bronze medal topic. Russell, what do you got for us?
All right, so my bronze medal topic this week is the Pro Football Hall of Fame semifinalist list came out. And it has some, like every year, it has some just like biggest names in the history of the NFL in there. But this year especially, there's some guys who might be the greatest players at their position. Going through it, some of the first year guys, Brian Urlacher, Chicago Bears linebacker for a number of years on there. Ray Lewis, you can put him in that same vein of being one of the best linebackers, middle linebackers of all time too. Those guys are probably 1 and 1A as far as middle linebackers in the NFL. Randy Moss is in his first year on the list, and is arguably one of the best wide receivers in the history of the NFL. And then you have a guy like Terrell Owens, who is on the ballot for the third time and is by every stat one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game. Yet he didn't make a lot of friends when he was playing. So he has to wait. A couple of really good names on there that will probably get in either this year or next year. Isaac Bruce, longtime Rams wide receiver.
Underrated.
Holt, another longtime Rams wide receiver. Hines Ward's on that list.
Great blocker.
I think this is his first year on there.
Great blocker.
Edgerrin James, running back, long time for the Colts. And Brian Dawkins, hard-hitting safety for the Eagles. So there's some really big names on that list, even some I didn't even include on there. So it'll be interesting to see out of those names. Somebody's always a surprise to get left off. So I'm wondering who that is this year.
Yeah. First of all, just from the couple names you mentioned, especially Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher, and Randy Moss, those are all first ballot Hall of Famers. Yeah. And so for me, you already have 3 of the 5 slots taken up, and that's why you have someone like Terrell Owens in his third year, who has really good stats, Hall of Fame stats, but it is about timing. You know, you can only let in a certain amount of people per year, so, and part of it is, you see this in the Baseball Hall of Fame especially, it's not just about your stats, it's about your relationship with the media. You know, people like Russell, growing up, you know, they always said about Barry Bonds, he was a dick. And he was a dick to every reporter. And guess what? It makes it harder at each stage, you know. And so you're going to see that with Terrell Owens. He was kind of an asshole to a lot of reporters. And so because of that, and he wasn't a good teammate necessarily. And so there's things that are going to detract from him, even though his stats show that he's a great receiver. And then there's stuff like Isaac Bruce, played in a very small market, didn't get the TV time that these other guys did. If you look at his stats, he is a bona fide Hall of Famer. He is so in the class of what you call Hall of Fame, but he probably won't get as much of attention as I'm not saying he's as good as Randy Moss, but his stats say I deserve to be in the Hall of Fame as much as Randy Moss. And he won't get in nearly as quickly as Randy will because he's a small market guy. And so it's going to be interesting, like you said. Who do you think is going to be the snub this year?
Man, because you're right. Randy Moss, Brian Urlacher, and Ray Lewis are the 3 locks. Edgerrin James, I think, has a really great case to get in there. But if you look at all the running backs in the Hall of Fame, you have to have like a ironclad case to get in on your first try.
Yeah. I think
like Walter Payton and Eric Dickerson and all those guys in the Hall of Fame. You have to have like a 5-star like resume to get in the Hall of Fame. And I think Edgerrin James has a really good one, but not one maybe to get in on the first ballot. I think Hines Ward is another guy who people actually really like. So if Hines Ward made it in there this year, I wouldn't be surprised. But because of some of the other guys who've been left off the ballot and left out of the Hall of Fame in the last couple of years, a guy like Brian Dawkins, who should obviously be in the Hall of Fame, he'll probably get left off. Torrey Holt, same case like you made for Isaac Bruce, was in that British turf offense with the Rams. Probably has a better case than Bruce, and maybe as good of a case as Chris Carter, who's now in the Hall of Fame. But it took Chris Carter a little while to get in there too. So Yeah, those are some of the guys that I think might get snubbed. My question I want to pose to you is: should the NFL or pro football be like baseball and open it up to 10 spots instead of five? Because I think when you do five, not only does somebody get left off for maybe 1 or 2 years, you could get left off for 4 or 5, 6 years, depending on who comes in that class the following year.
Well, I believe don't they have five normal slots and then five from like the Veterans Committee? So it's like if you didn't make it through the first run, then you're eligible for that next five, right? So
I don't know if it's like baseball where after a little while being on the regular ballot you get pushed to the veterans ballot. I'm not sure. That's something we should
because
probably check out. But I think baseball
the
you
part of the
have in regular slots and then the veterans ballot.
because part of the reason for the veterans ballot for baseball is because baseball has such a longer history, and then they have like a big chunk of their history that, like for instance, the whole Negro League, they were like trying to incorporate in, and they needed like extra slots for that because they had passed over all of those people like Satchel Paige, and so it's like I feel like there's not as much history with football, but I feel like there is the potential of you're gonna have people starting to get left off that are Hall of Fame worthy, and some people would say, oh, it's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Very Good. They don't deserve to be on, but I think a lot of these guys they deserve to be on, but it's just but because there's only five slots, it's like musical chairs, and they're gonna get left off. And I think that's unfair. It shouldn't be process of elimination. That shouldn't be part of the Hall of Fame selection. I think there should be. I wouldn't expand it out to 10. I think 7 would be good. But the issue is, as far as like, I think 7 for the Hall of Fame to me is a perfect number. I feel like there's always like 2 guys who should get on. Like this year, like you said, Brian Dawkins, Torrey Holt, those 2 feel like snubs to me, and they shouldn't. And Isaac Bruce maybe too. So there's like 3 guys I really like. I feel like 7 a year would kind of solve this. But this is going to get to my last point. So the one concern about the Hall of Fame is they were thinking that the ceremony itself, when they induct the guys, it's getting too long and drawn out. These speeches are just getting terrible. Out of all the people you think who are about to be inducted, whose like speech do we have to watch out for the most? I'm thinking Ray Lewis, number 1 choice for me. Like, do you think he's gonna like do that 2 kneel knee thing again right before he starts?
You never know when you put a mic in front of Ray what's gonna come out. I definitely think Ray is probably the one we need to think about. I'd be very interested to see Terrell Owens' Hall of Fame speech when he eventually gets in there to see who he's going to come for, or if he's just like, you know what, made a lot of mistakes, and if I could do it again, probably would change some things. But you don't know. So, like, I think half the thing with T.O. would be the waiting to see what exactly he would say.
Yeah, I think we're not going to see classy T.O. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
You think we can't hold out hope for that?
I think it's more like get your popcorn ready. He's gonna start roasting people, and that's what I want.
No, and I don't think that's bad entertainment at all.
Yeah, I think he's gonna just start trashing people like Michael Jordan at the Hall of Fame speech, and not that he's Michael Jordan, but I don't mind. I really don't mind at all as a comedian.
Heck of a player.
Yeah. But yeah, I think out of all of them, I think Edgerrin James, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, and Dawkins, they should be on snub alert, and not really deserved, but unfortunate but true.